What's going on, everyone? Let's talk about the latest with this trade deal with China. It is about 2:45 in the afternoon, so we're actually less than 10 hours away from when the new set of trade tariffs are supposed to take effect. And Trump comes out and says the deal with China is still possible, but tariffs are an excellent alternative. And so negotiators for the US and China will meet tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and he set a midnight deadline to slap additional tariffs on China, though he has suggested that his administration might reverse its decision depending on progress with the negotiations. So just keep that in mind, guys. I say there is now a new third direction that this trade war could possibly go. Obviously, the first one being the trade tariffs will be applied, and we will see a probably close to 10 or 15% market correction over the next 30 to 90 days. The second thing being that China and US make a trade agreement, in which case I would anticipate somewhere between a 2 and a 5% increase on the indexes. And then there's what's called kicking the can down the road, where they might just suspend the trade tariffs temporarily, saying that they have made some progress. In that case, I feel like the market will just trade at its normal value. Hopefully the indexes tick back up to where they were at the start of the week, before all this stuff kind of happened. So guys, do me a favor, drop a thumbs up on this video if you're enjoying it. I appreciate all the support, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I am trying to keep a very, very close eye on what is going on here, and I might possibly go live if we get some breaking news tonight. Just kind of depends. Like I just mentioned, China and the US is set to meet at 5 p.m. tonight. And of course, we all know nobody is pulling for these trade tariffs to go through. Maybe Trump and a couple of politicians, or maybe that is just kind of their game face and they're using that as a negotiation tactic. But really, there's nobody in the United States, there's nobody in China, and there's really nobody on the planet hoping these trade tariffs go through. This is what the markets have done pretty much all week. Like I said, on Friday, we made some all-time highs. And then since then, guys, we have basically just dropped and bounced pretty much all week. And this has all been kind of pushed back and forth by a series of tweets from our president, Donald Trump. Right here on Monday, we dropped off about 500 points in pre-market and almost had a full recovery by the end of the day. Then here on Tuesday, we took a big dive and the Dow traded down to 25,700 points before we did see kind of a mild recovery. Then here at close on the 8th, again, we started to see another recovery. Just keep in mind, there is a small timeline of these tweets. Pretty much anytime something comes out, Trump, he will say something that these trade tariffs are unavoidable, then almost reverse it a few hours later, kind of keep the door open for China and the US to make a trade agreement. That's why I said in my video last night, you can take everything you know or everything you think you know about the stock market, throw it out the window this week. Unless you are short or holding puts on almost every company out there, your portfolio is probably hurting. Now, I have taken some short positions, tried to do a little bit of day trading with some of this short-term volatility, but there is still quite a bit of uncertainty. And like I mentioned, we are less than 9 hours away from these trade tariffs taking effect. Another thing to think about, guys, is not just us as investors and traders, but you also have to think about people that these tariffs are going to affect their career almost directly, okay? And I think that's where the real pain of these tariffs, if they are applied, are really going to hit the United States. It's kind of a hard concept to understand, but the US is the biggest economy in the world and China is second. And we both kind of depend on each other and we're both kind of brothers. And so while we are growing, they have an opportunity to grow. And when the Chinese economy gets stronger, we also get stronger. It really makes all the sense in the world for us to get along and try to put our best foot forward and continue growing as the two strongest economies. But a lot of US companies are preparing for pain ahead of the tariff hike. And so I just want to briefly mention a few of these excerpts is like Emerson Electric, and they manufacture products and provide engineering services for a wide range of different industries. And they said its global manufacturing end market saw slower growth, in part thanks to inventory rebalancing in the US from last year's tariff impacts. And so they are preparing again for another set of tariffs, which again is going to have a direct impact on their line of industry. And then of course, tool makers Stanley Black & Decker and Snap-on said they're taking steps to ease the pain of higher supply costs as a result of the Trump administration tariffs. And so unfortunately, Stanley Black & Decker, their company, have been raising prices for consumers to help offset steeper input expenses. So again, some of these companies are forced to raise prices to offset some of the input expenses, and then which in turn lowers their sales figures, and their overall revenue and profits start going down. And this is just kind of a never-ending cycle, okay? I think everybody is unanimously hoping these trade tariffs do get suspended and America and China do come to a final agreement. So in about 12 minutes from now, and I'm sure by the time I publish and upload this video, it will be well after 5 p.m. Eastern time. This is when China and US are going to be sitting down and hopefully coming to a resolution with the trade war. At any rate, I will be very plugged in and watching very closely for any breaking news. I'm going to start working on some earnings reports from two of the stocks we cover closest here on the channel, that being Roku and Disney. Both of them had blowout earnings reports, but it was kind of overshadowed by the looming threat of the trade tariffs. At any rate, guys, make sure to drop a comment and share your thoughts with what is going on here. Thank you for all the support and thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.